One of the things I get asked a lot about in talking about the HPTI traits and the personality traits is what happens with interactions between different personality traits. So I've done videos before on specific and individual personality traits, what effect they have on the workplace and people's work. But because there's 6 traits that have different levels, the interactions between the different traits are really important and really interesting to look at. So for example, if you're looking at a combination of conscientiousness, which is kind of organization, long-term planning ability, combined with adjustment, which is stress levels, if you're looking at high versus low combinations of those, you get very different effects. So for example, if you have someone who's highly conscientious, very organized, good at planning, self-motivated, and someone who's very well adjusted, has high adjustment, so doesn't get stressed often or worry about very many things, that tends to be a really useful trait combination at work. Someone like that is really good at long-term planning, but they don't get too worried about the day-to-day details. So it tends to be kind of an optimal, effective combination. Interestingly, there's positive and negatives of different combinations as well. So if you look at someone who's highly conscientious but has lower adjustment, tends to get more stressed about more things more often, sometimes that's difficult, but sometimes it's a really useful trait as well. So an example we have of that is a lot of people who have more entrepreneurial type businesses or small businesses tend to often have lower levels of adjustment, which they use really effectively when they combine it with managing highly conscientious kind of motivations and behaviors. So that may mean they're worried about things, or they're stressing about things, or they're thinking about a lot of things that could go wrong in their business, but they're also using their planning and motivation and kind of capacity to get themselves to do things to fix all of the sources of stress. So they might be worrying about 10 different things, but they're also making sure they get those things done, or they get those problems solved, or they address those issues that could come up. So when you can use conscientiousness to adapt to the sources of stress and make sure you solve those problems or deal with the source of the stress, that can be really useful, really healthy, really adaptive in business at work, when that combination kind of draws up those opportunities and possibilities to fix things or to improve and to grow. So that combination of high conscientiousness and low adjustment can be a problem for some people and sometimes, but when it's used effectively and used constructively, often it can be used to solve problems before they even become big problems, or to deal with all of the different sources of stress that you're aware of and that you use your motivation and capacity to deal with. So you look at the context and you look at the environment and the trait combinations that really allow you to deal with those problems and to perform well.